Good morning, friends. Welcome back to the kitchen here at the farm. We're going to do something today that we've never done before. We're going to try to make bread like my grandma used to make it. I've got a little knowledge about bread making, so I think I can make my way through it. Bread is not hard, and we're going to prove that to you right now, so stick around. So back in my grandmother's era, and probably your grandmother's era, bread making was a thing you did every day, just along with cooking meals. People made bread so much that they didn't have to measure anything. They knew how much went in there. Their mother taught them how to do it, or their father, or whoever did it. And you just kind of followed along and did it. It's pretty forgiving, really. But you would make biscuits for breakfast, and you would probably use some leftover bread for sandwiches, maybe for lunch. You could make some rolls or whatever, some bread for dinner. It was basically made every single day. So you do something enough, you know how to do it. So, like I said, I've been making bread long enough. I think I can get my way through this. Let's give it a shot. Okay, we're going to start out our recipe with our dry ingredients. I'm going to use what's left of our flour that we got from our friends in Oklahoma, Matt and Sam. Thank you for the flour. We've really been enjoying it. Kelly's been using it to feed her sourdough starter, and it's been working out really well. I'm guessing I got about 4 cups of flour in here. And whenever you're dealing with about 4 to 6 cups of flour, you're going to need about a tablespoon of yeast. So we'll put about a tablespoon of yeast in our hand here. About like that. Make sure your yeast is good. Check the dates wherever it is on your jar. We keep ours in our fridge. This is good till June 2025. Now I like to use about the same amount of salt as you do your yeast. So about a tablespoon of that. Now, if you were going to use granulated sugar, you would put it in now. I'd say about a teaspoon and a half of sugar. But we're going to use molasses for our sweetener, so we'll put that in with our wet mix. So we're going to use the best mixing tool that you got. Use your hands. Mix all your dry ingredients together. Grandma used to do this right on her dining table in the kitchen. She'd do it right on the table. She wouldn't do it in a bowl. Got this mixed up. Now for our liquid, we're going to use some of our whey from our cheese making the other day. Back in the day, you didn't waste any liquid in the kitchen because a long time ago you had to carry water into the kitchen. So you didn't want to be carrying water all the time from outside. So if you cooked vegetables or something like that, you save the liquid from that, save the water. Grandma's recipe a lot of times called for potato water in her flour or in her bread. So you'd boil potatoes. You wouldn't dump that water down the sink like you do nowadays. You would save that water and you'd cook with it. So we're going to use our whey. We're first going to add some molasses in here for a little bit of sweetener. It's going to give that yeast a little something to eat too. Probably about 2 tablespoons of molasses in there. And then I'm also going to add some fat. You don't have to, but I like to add a little fat into my bread, whether it be butter, olive oil. We're going to use bacon grease that we saved. We're going to get probably about a 1/4 cup of that. Throw it in there. And then we'll start adding our whey. I've microwaved our whey. It's just under 100 degrees. You do not want to get over about 120. And we'll start with a little bit of our whey in here. Start with about a cup or so. And then we'll mix up our bacon grease into that. It'll start pretty much melting into the liquid there. We're probably going to add some more liquid, but we don't want to add too much to begin with. So let's start working in our flour. And anybody that makes bread knows the texture they're looking for. We'll show you what that is. Obviously way too dry right now. But we'll just mix it up a little bit. Add some more of our liquid. You can smell that good bacon grease in there. It's going to be really good bread. The salt's in the bread. Salt makes everything taste better. That's why you add salt, but very few ingredients in bread. You don't even have to add sweetener. You don't have to add sugar. Your yeast will work without the sugar. But I like just a little bit of sweetness in my bread. But again, you don't have to put it. So without the sweetener, you're looking at how many ingredients here? You're looking at, you don't even have to put the fat either. So flour, yeast, salt, and whatever liquid you're using. So basically 4 ingredients to make bread. We might have to heat up some more of our whey. I have some more in the fridge. Definitely going to need more. Let me heat some more of that up because I don't want to put it in cold, and we'll come back to you. Got some more whey heated up here. Put a little bit more in there. Now most people will start with a wet batter and just add a little more flour at a time. But if you make bread the old way, you start with the dry and you add a little liquid a little bit at a time to get your proper consistency. Now I'm going to tell you ahead of time that we're going to make this a little bit wetter than what you're probably used to in bread. Like with normal bread flour, we would probably stop right there. But since we're using the wheat flour, we want to use a little more liquid and have this mixture a little more loose. But if we were, like I said, regular bread flour, we would probably stop right there and just start our kneading process. But I'll knead this a little bit, and then we're going to put some more liquid in it. And I'm going to go even with a little more than that. We'll clean the sides of our bowl a little bit. Incorporate that liquid in there. And you can use water if you don't have whey. Don't use chlorinated water because that might hurt your yeast. So if you live in an area that has chlorinated water, say in a city or something, get you some water out in a bowl the night before if you're going to make bread the next day, and that chlorine gas will gas off overnight, and then you'll be okay. We have good well water here on the homestead, so there's no chlorination or anything like that. It's just really good water out of the earth. So this is about the consistency we want. You can see it's got a little more liquid than what you'd normally have in your bread dough, but that's all right with this whole wheat flour. So what we're going to do now is we're going to clean the sides of the bowl, and that warm whey that we put in there is going to jumpstart this yeast. So we're going to stir this around for about 5 minutes or so. I won't bore you with that, to develop the gluten in this flour. Make it real elastic. We'll come back when we're done. Okay, we're getting real close. See how that's really elastic in the bowl? That's what we're looking for. So we'll clean things up here a bit. Get as much as we can off the side of the bowl again. Get everything kind of in the middle. So, need to wash my hands, and we'll get this covered up. So with our dough this sticky, what I'm going to do, place a piece of parchment over our bowl. Then I'm going to cover with our bread making towel that we have. This is a towel that my mom used to make out of old bed sheet material. It's nice and lightweight. We use them for bread making. So we want this to rise double. So always look, see what it looks like. We're probably going to be about 3/4 full in the bowl when this rises double. So we'll come back. It's going to take probably a couple hours. Now what I'm going to do, since this is going to take a couple hours, I told Mom I would bring her lunch today since she's in that nursing home. She doesn't get out except for medical appointments, and she goes with the people in the medical transport. So I'm going to get her some Chinese lunch. She really enjoys Chinese, and I'll take it to her. We'll have lunch together down at her nursing home where she lives. All right, we made it here with Mom having lunch. Got her favorite Chinese.
Aren't I lucky? I'm telling you, this looks delicious.
What'd you order, Mom?
I ordered shrimp here. I got shrimp. We got crab rangoon. We got pot stickers.
Oh, looks good. I got Singapore rice noodles.
And they look good too.
Yep.
I might have to have you put a little bit on there.
Yep, we'll give you some.
So we're just having a nice lunch here. The weather's good outside, and we're just gonna have a nice lunch.
What's your fortune say, Mom?
Acting on a good idea is better than just having a good idea.
That's true.
And well, we had a wonderful lunch.
Did you like that?
Cleaned it up. There was nothing left. Not
Yeah.
a bite.
You
Well,
ate-
actually, I have to eat my cookie.
You ate pretty good.
I did.
Are you going to be able to eat supper?
I don't think I will eat supper.
Okay, we had a good lunch with Mom, so we're going to head back home and get back to our bread. All right, folks, we made it home. Let's check out our bread. You can see our bread has risen double, so we're going to punch it down. We've already washed our hands. Get that back down in the bowl. Now we want it to rise one more time double, and then we'll form it into whatever we're going to make out of it. We've got it covered back up. It won't take as long to rise the second time, so probably only about an hour. Our bread has risen to double a second time, so we're going to punch this down. We're going to get out a baking sheet. We're going to form this into the different size bread that we want to make. Okay, we got a nice sticky dough, so we're going to use a little spray on our hands to keep our dough from sticking. It's like we do when we make our sweet bread. And then we'll get a piece of dough out, about half the size that we want for finished product. I'm going to make some dinner rolls that we can have for dinner. So we'll figure that will rise about double. We'll give the top of our bread a little spray as well. And we'll keep making a few of these. We always make them about apricot size pieces. And then when they double up, they'll be about the size we want. We always go 3 wide on our half sheet pan. And we're just tucking the sides under like this. Some people will roll it like that. I've never really been able to do that. Okay, we'll keep making these. We're going to take some more cooking spray now, and we're going to coat the top of these rolls because we don't want them to stick when we cover them up. Now we're going to let these rise double, and then they'll be ready to bake. We're preheating our oven to 350. I put the rolls over here on the front part of the stove. The warmth coming up from underneath the range top will help these rise a little bit quicker so we can bake them a little bit sooner. So far so good. I think Grandma would be proud. Remember, we didn't measure any of this stuff. We just threw it together. Our rolls have risen, so time to go in the oven. They're going to take about 15 to 20 minutes. We'll check them at 350 degrees. Our buns are out of the oven. They took about 17 minutes or so. We're going to brush the top with butter like we always do. Keep the tops of our rolls from being dry. We'll come back when these are cooled off a little bit. We'll break one open and show you how it looks. Okay folks, let's check this bread out. Get that beautiful bread. Look how light and airy that is. Beautiful. Let's get some butter. I like a little bit of bread with my butter. Fantastic bread. We didn't measure anything. It's got a good flavor to it. It's nice and light and airy. Yummy. You won't find whole wheat bread this light. So good. Now the reason this is so light, we made a really light dough. Remember, we added more liquid. That makes it a lot lighter and a lot less dense. And then we cooked it, didn't cook it too long, and it just came out perfect. Now the shape of your finished product also has to do with the pan that you cook it in. I wanted to use these double as like slider buns or hamburger buns, so we spread them out on the cookie sheet so when they rose, they not only rose, they spread out a little bit because we didn't want them real tall. Now, if we'd have put these in a smaller cookie sheet with maybe a little bit higher sides, they would have risen up and you would have had a taller roll. So that's the difference. Now, your dough will stand up a lot more too if there's a lot more structure to it. If you made a drier dough with more flour, remember we made the wetter dough. If it was drier, it would stand up better, but you're going to sacrifice the tenderness of the dough because the more flour you put in there, the more dense your bread is going to get. And it's very important with this whole wheat flour to back off on the flour a little bit. Now, if you wanted to use these for a hamburger bun or slider bun, just get you a bread knife. Come in here, cut that baby in half like that. And you got you a nice hamburger bun. Or these would be really good for like egg sandwiches in the morning. Be super good. You can toast these and make toast with them. Good all around bread. I don't know about you, but we can't find whole wheat hamburger buns at the store. And this bread has no preservatives, nothing like that. So much better for you than that stuff you're getting at the store. Okay, folks, I hope you saw in this video that bread making is really not rocket surgery at all. The recipes are really forgiving as long as you got the basic ingredients in there. It's going to make bread. Now, you can change things up. You can use water for your liquid. You can use half water, half milk. You can put some potatoes in the mix like we do with our Portuguese sweetbread. Do anything you want. You can mix up your different types of flour. It's super easy, and I highly recommend that you make some bread. Get rid of those preservatives that are coming from the store that aren't good for you, and learn how to do it. You can do this every single day like your grandparents used to do and have nice fresh bread. So hope you guys enjoyed it. Come back and see us here at Markelly Farm. Stay safe, stay healthy. We love you. Thanks for hanging around.